Well, this is kind of a funny one. Even though I get reshoots are a common thing, it's still wild to me that we're shooting stuff 2 months before a movie comes out. So apparently, Julia Garner is filming some more scenes for Fantastic Four First Steps. And in the release, it says that this is standard procedure for Marvel. And it's like, well, maybe that's part of the problem. This movie comes out in 2 months. And I get it, as Bits, Bites, and Bourbon says down here. Reshoots are sadly not uncommon these days. But you know what? Maybe that is a big part of the problem, is that that's not an uncommon thing. And I'm not talking about just Marvel. I'm talking about Hollywood in general. Because the quality of films that come out of modern Hollywood are not that good. So maybe, just maybe, we should look inside and get some of this stuff ready to go and have some time to maybe edit a little bit more, polish, instead of having to scramble to shoot a scene that we've decided we wanted to shoehorn in 2 months before a movie comes out. Kind of crazy. And the quality of Marvel, even if it's good, like Daredevil, it's not blowing the doors off of anybody's wow factor. Daredevil disaster, 8 episodes in, 0 Nielsen ratings. Apparently this show, for 8 weeks, never charted. That's a disaster. And look, I like this show. I do. I have some small criticisms for the show, of course. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the Netflix show. However, it's still a pretty good show, in my opinion. Some people are going to disagree with me on that, but I liked Daredevil Born Again for the most part. And, that's subjective, but if you're a Daredevil fan, I think it's worth a watch. But, this is some of the best stuff that they've put out in a long time. At least it's way better than a lot of the shit that they've put out since Endgame. And Thunderbolts, apparently, though I haven't seen it, I hear is okay. No one's showing up to watch that either. Marvel's in a bad place right now. But the blame game is on, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, Marvel is blaming Disney for their recent film and TV failures, which I find funny. It's not just Disney, though Disney is partially responsible because they were told to pump out a bunch of shit. That does not mean that it's entirely on them. But before we get into that, I just want to let you know I have a comic book out. We're over $75,000 in sales, 2,774 books sold. Definitely think this is worth checking out. We got a really fun book here, doing some alternate history. We've got mechs, we've got Sentai, we've got superheroes, we've got action, and most importantly, we've got fun, which is the entire goal of what we wanted to do with this comic. Make a fun, action-packed comic book that I think that you will thoroughly enjoy. So hop on over, check out the link in the description. We've got 4 great covers in various ways that you can get these, from CGCs to just regular floppies. Check it out. I think you will enjoy it. Now, let's get to the blame game, because that's what's going on here. They got to blame somebody, so who do we blame? We blame Bob Iger. It's his fault that the shows and movies have sucked ass. So, apparently they were stretched too thin, which we already kind of knew. But even still, how does that explain all the messaging that they put into it? I guess the one thing that you could forgive them on with that, if you want to, is the awful CGI that has been in a lot of the Marvel properties. Like She-Hulk, for example. The CGI in that show is dog shit. And that's not just a Marvel problem, to be honest. CGI across the industry is pretty bad. It's a problem. Look back to like how CGI looked 10 years ago. It feels like we've regressed. Go look at like Pirates of the Caribbean and how good some of that CGI looks in the sequel movies, despite how you may or may not feel about them. Like, that shit looks good. Compared to now, like, it's a complete step back. But anyway, we've got this Wall Street Journal article that came out claiming that Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige is putting the blame on Bob Iger and executives at Marvel's parent company, the Walt Disney Company, for the studio's recent failures. Specifically, Feige is blaming Disney for forcing them to churn out as much content as possible for its Disney Plus streaming service. According to the report, Feige believes all of this content overwhelmed and alienated viewers. Furthermore, the team was allegedly stretched, and this diluted the quality of their output. Now, I do believe that they were asked to put as much content out as possible. A lot of bad shows were put on Disney Plus. She-Hulk being the worst. That was the worst one. She-Hulk was shit. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but it was bad. But you know what? The fact that was approved, like the scripts of that show, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's go to Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Is that what they called that show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Either way, like, that show was full of the message. It was all over that script, specifically at the end where Falcon Cap tells that senator that he needs to do better. Okay, we need to treat terrorists a little bit kinder. There was messaging over all of those shows. That was a conscious decision at Marvel before all of this went down, because it started in Endgame. That 5-minute girl power cringe scene where all of the girl heroes assemble. Come on. That's when this really started to kick in, was an Endgame. Before Disney Plus was even a whisper. So don't sit here and claim that it was the churn that diluted everything. You had the messaging all over. In fact, it feels like messaging before quality. Now, I do think they're starting to try to change that. And I think Ironheart and Fantastic Four will probably be the last. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't want to say it'll be the last. Where we're really going to see where things are with Marvel is with Doomsday. Because that seems like the first production that's really kicking off without, phases 4, 5, and what are we on, 6 now? That were complete dog shit full of messaging. So we'll see if that quality is going to come back. The problem is, will anybody give a shit? Because no one's watching any of this Marvel stuff. The ratings are in the toilet, man. The fact that Daredevil didn't even chart on the Nielsen ratings, that should be a huge red flag to them. As for the studio being stretched, it claims that Feige was the final decision maker for each Disney Plus show the studio was creating, and that he would overturn weeks of work with little to no time to implement the changes before the show needed to meet its deadlines. The report even claims staffers chased him down in the hallways in order to get answers. Oh, I forgot about Secret Invasion. Yeah, that show ruined Nick Fury, turned him into a loser, have him making out with that woman, that Skrull woman. But, Kevin Feige, I also think is part of the problem. It's time for him to move on to something else, I think. That passion clearly is not there. I think this guy, the idea of him going to Star Wars isn't a bad idea. If they ever can get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. I don't know if that's going to happen, but something else. I feel like it's time for fresh blood at Marvel, and I really think that would help. But, the rest of the article goes over a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. Marvel employees talking about being fatigued. They're worried that they created a no new fans club. Well, the problem there is not only did you created a club that really wasn't what fans were looking for, also trying to steer this into some kind of girls brand, which makes no sense. Makes no sense. It's the same shit that they did with Star Wars, and that's part of the problem with Star Wars. So, yeah, I don't think Kevin Feige's going anywhere. He's definitely going to get a chance to try to right the ship. The problem is, even if he does right it, will anybody give a shit? I'm going to be really interested in those Fantastic Four box office numbers, because in a lot of ways, the future of comic book movies is riding on Fantastic Four and on Superman. We'll see. We'll see. And if those movies go down, the only thing that's ever going to get greenlit again and will probably even make any money is like Batman, Deadpool, Spider-Man, stuff like that. And that's all you're going to see. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Check out my comic. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
The year is 1945. World War II rages from the halls of Buckingham Palace to the shores of the Nile River. Even now, the clash between freedom and tyranny is about to boil over. Somewhere in North Africa, 2 American flyboys are soaring high on a reconnaissance mission, searching for clues to a peculiar new obsession with the occult gripping the Nazi high command.